Hello, everyone, and welcome. I want to especially welcome everyone here today for our special presentation during our integration series that we're going to be doing for the next following Wednesdays during July and August. Today, we're going to be welcoming 2020 Design, and with me today, we have Tom Bakorski. Welcome, Tom.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, thank you. Tom is going to be showing us 2020 design. We're going to start off using an Envisioneer model, and we're going to show you how to export the information out to 2020. Tom's going to do his magic in 2020, pass me back the file so you can see how to integrate it into Cadsoft Envisioneer. What I want to start off with today is talking about integration and why it's important in software. We always get the question when we're at trade shows or at different meetings with different companies, why automate? What can we do in our process to make it quicker, more efficient? And that's the true power of integration between software companies. You can take the model and pass it through all of these different stages, taking advantage of the information you can pull off of your BIM model and pass to other companies like 2020. So if we're in the sales and marketing or decor center area and we want to be able to show what that kitchen, that bathroom, that room is going to look like, and we are using cabinetry that we find in 2020, then we're going to use and take advantage of sending that model over to 2020 so they can quickly design and create the space and then send it back so that we can do the full permit drawings, sending it over to engineering, which is going to be part of our next in our series. We're going to be looking at MyTech and later in the year Warehouser and taking that full bill materials out. So that's why we want to integrate the process so that you can take advantage of the expertise in different software and be able to use what you can from that software and bring it all together in one complete package and automated system going through the entire design, working drawing, estimating process. So we're going to demonstrate to you today the power of using a BIM product like Envisioneer and 2020 so that we can show you how we can take that integration to that next level. So I'm going to first start off in our Envisioneer model. We have an Envisioneer model that we've drawn, and we'll make these models available to you as well so that you can practice with them and use them. We have the model here that we'll be sending you, and I can also give you the XML file that you can practice with coming from 2020 that Tom's going to provide us. So once we have the entire model drawn, we've got our 2D floor plan created. What we need to do now is fill in this kitchen area. We want to start designing the kitchen, and we're working with a designer that's using 2020. So we want to pass off that model. So looking at Envisioneer right now, I've created two views in 3D of that kitchen space. One is the kitchen view to the great room. So if I'm standing in the kitchen, what does it look like to look out into the great room if I was standing in the kitchen? And then another view of the great room looking back into the kitchen. So what Tom's going to do in his magic is fill in this area right here of our model and show us what he can do in 2020. To be able to send him this plan that we've created, we need to export it, first of all, outside of Envisioneer. To export the model out to 2020, we're going to come up here to the File pull-down menu. We're going to choose Export, and then under Export, you'll see 2020 XML file. We're sending them off an XML file. I'm going to give this file a name, so I'll call it 2020, and I'll hit Save. And now look at my cursor. It looks like a plus sign attached to a hand. It's wanting me to select the items. Also remember to always look down in your lower left-hand corner of your screen to the prompt line. It's also telling you to select the items. What it wants me to do is to show it what walls I want to export. So I'm going to come along and I'm selecting the walls in Envisioneer that I want to export out to Tom so that he can finish off the design in 2020. So I'm just selecting the ones that are surrounding that kitchen area. There's nothing stopping you from selecting all of the walls and sending them all out and going through that process, but we'll just send the ones out that surround that kitchen area because that's the ones he really needs to understand and see in our design. Once I have all of those walls selected, I simply right-click and hit enter. And then it tells me it's successfully exported out the XML file. At that point, I email that file over to Tom, and he opens it up in 2020. I've done that already. We've already emailed that off to him. We've done that earlier today to save us some time and him opening it up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make Tom our presenter so he can take over and show you 2020 design and allow everyone to see it. So Tom, you are now the presenter and everyone can see your screen.
Okay, this is Tom from 2020. So basically, once the export has been created and copied over, or with you, it would just be seamless because you would have 2020 and Envisioneer on the same machine. In 2020, you would go to File, Import, okay, from local storage, and you would pick the model for Envisioneer because it will import some other features from other products, okay? And then you would pick the export file and import that into your program. So what it's going to do is present to me, it'll take a few seconds here, it'll present to me the walls that Chantel had created and sent back to me. Okay? Now, basically, the room is pretty much intact the same way she presented it. It might look a little bit different. I'm using a different version of the file here. Okay? But as you can see, the ceilings are removed and things like that. But the space looks exactly the same as what she showed you before when she sent it over to me. Okay? So to save some time, what I did was I created a design layout of the space, which I'm going to switch over to. Okay? And basically what I did was I created a design for that open space. Okay? And I'm just going to do a perspective view to show you the after. Okay? Now, the beauty of 2020, this will take it'll pan through a couple of different times to create the rendering because it takes into account how the lighting is set up and how it affects different parts of the room, where the focus of the lighting is, and so on. Okay? So it gives you a very realistic picture of what it can produce. But the beauty of this is the cabinetry is going to come from possibly hundreds of different cabinet lines that are available for companies who have catalogs that support 2020. Okay, so as an example, okay, I went to the manufacturer catalog page for 2020 and brought this up so that you can see all the cabinet companies who have catalogs for a program. Now, what is really nice about this in the integration model between Envisioneer and 2020 is that when you do the design layout and you set up your pricing mechanism, you picture for the door styles and colors, when you export this back to Envisioneer, it sends all that detail back. So if you're using a model of Cadsoft product that will do pricing for your layout, it's going to send you back cabinet pricing too for what you selected. Okay, and I'll be able to show you some different models of that too. But you can see there's a pretty good list of cabinet companies. Okay, and this isn't everybody There are even more than what's listed here, but you can see there's appliance catalogs, there's accessory catalogs. So if you want to do posts and corbels from, let's see here, here's Inkable, there's White River, there's Art for Every Day, any number of companies that you can import their products directly into the design, including lighting, okay? So you get down here and there's fixtures. Here's countertop companies who actually have their product built into 2020 or can be imported into 2020 and used, okay, and so on, okay? So let's go back to the design. And you can see you can move around in the room. You can do walkthroughs, so you can move back, you can move forward. You can pick a different point of view to look into the room. You can also do any room of the house, okay? So you can, that's a great room, so you can decorate the great room. You can, let me get to this side, okay? And you can see I have a TV on the wall and there's a picture on the wall and so on. So you can actually move around in the room and you can save any view that you show. So in the drop downs up here, you can see save as image. So I could save that as a JPEG. I can email it to whomever I want, okay? One of the really nice features in 2020 is our Panorama View. And basically that is a 360-degree view of a room, or rooms in this case, all right? I'm not going to go through and do that process here. I picked a different model that I can show you that will do those types of features. But this is, kind of a really unique product because the 3D view that we produce can be opened on any device, on a computer, on a tablet, and on a phone. And it will use the gyroscope in the room to move around the room with the motion of the phone, up and down, side to side, and so on. And with a 3D viewer, you can actually put the phone on the front of the 3D viewer, and it looks like you stepped into the room. And what's nice about this for you? Well, it gives you a more realistic presentation, for one. For another, when you start this process for the panoramic view, it's going to ask you for an email address. That's all you need to do. There is nothing needed on the other side. No app, no software, no nothing. They click on a link, it opens on their phone, it opens on their tablet. Okay? So as you can see right here, I can tell it auto center. It centers me in the center of the room. I can tell it high retina display, and look here, I can click this button right here and tell it allow sharing on Facebook. That means you can publish any of these views directly to your Facebook page so that people can see the projects that you've completed. Okay? And when I tell it publish or to move forward, all it's really going to do is ask me to fill out a questionnaire, and the primary function of the questionnaire is providing an email address. That's all that's necessary. Okay? Once you've done that, this is what they're going to see. Okay? Now, I picked this one specifically. We ran a design contest. We run one every year. Okay? So this design was done by a freelance designer that owns 2020. We did not produce this picture. I always like to show things our customers have done. Okay? And this is his design that he submitted, and guess what? It was the winner. Okay? So basically, in this mode, if I hold down my button and I just turn slowly, you can see how the panoramic view gives you a 360-degree view of the room. Okay? So this is the quality of output that you can expect to see when you produce these output views. And he's a guy after my own heart. you know, you notice right here, he's got a TV on the wall. It's got a hockey game on it. Okay. So you can actually, if you wanted to, you could put a picture on the wall and put your business card on it. So your panoramic views always is an advertisement, because the one thing for you that this produces now, okay, you automatically are doing social media with your customers. Okay, you are doing lead generation while you're doing that social media. The panoramic view questionnaire has a little notepad area, and what I would type in there is, here is, you know, thank you for your business. Here is a picture of your project. Share it with your family and friends. Post it on your Facebook page, your Twitter account, your Instagram accounts, okay? And now all of a sudden, you're doing marketing, and free marketing at that. Because if they're posting it and sharing it with everybody, then, you know, somebody, that's why I recommend putting a picture on the wall and putting your business card in it. Because when they're turning, they're going to see who did it, okay? So you can do your own simple advertising and communications with your customer. Okay, so imagine doing this, opening your phone, and with just the motion of moving left and right and up and down, you'd be doing this same thing based on the motion of the phone. Okay? All right. Okay, so coming back to the design again here, there's a number of different features in 2020 that you might have interest in. You know, the one thing was you notice that there is no floor. I can bring flooring in. I can import colors, okay? If I want to change the color of a single cabinet or a single item in the design, okay, I can go into the attributes window. Okay, so here's the cabinet above the refrigerator. I can go into textures, and I can go to the door texture, and I can pick from whatever I want. Now this one is actually a color built into a catalog, but if I go to common, I can now go to paint, Sherwin-Williams. I can go into, let's say, blues in satin. And I can use any of these colors that I'm going to show you here. Okay, look at you a little bit. Paint, Sherwin-Williams, satin. Come on, be nice to me. Okay, let's try this a different way. Let me just put a single item in here, just in case there's a problem with the setup. And I'll show that to you again. Variables, picture. Yeah, the menu's not coming up right for some reason. Because usually there's a whole, like a collection of buttons here for things that you can bring in. Okay, well, this part of it here kind of illustrates that you can bring in your own library of colors. Okay, so if you want to do backsplash tile or something like that in the design, you can add that in and bring the color into your layout. I don't know why the connection to the paint colors isn't working, but it could just be because it's the way the design is set up from my side. Okay, so it gives you a number of different ways of getting different things into your design. Okay, as I mentioned before, you could do tile layouts and things like that. The 2020 cloud setup over here, I can go to my manufacturers, and here's all these appliance companies that are kind of built right into our cloud support area, okay? So if you're looking for a specific hood or a type of hood, you can actually just, select the catalogs that you want to view and do a search for a hood, okay? And then bring that right into your design. We have decoration area. So if you want to put furniture and things like that in, you can do that. You have lighting. Let's bring the elevation view up here. You have lighting options and features that you can do. That's kind of what you're seeing. These little rectangular things right here are different size lights. Okay, and we actually have brands, Sensio lighting and Revyshelf lighting and task lighting and so on. But if you wanted to create like a tile backsplash, you see I have a backsplash right here. I'm going to delete it, okay? And then I'm going to use the surface tool to basically do a little drawing here. And when I'm done creating the space, you can see it brings up the template of a tile, okay? And I'm going to go to my user library. And I'm going to pick this tile, which I imported into the program. Okay? And I'm not going to do another perspective view. I still have my perspective view open. And as you can see, it's automatically redrawing with the tile impact. I don't have to do anything else. It's interactive between the two. And one nice thing about the way the 2020 perspectives work, if you want to do, this is just kind of like a medium quality. You want to do that photo quality picture, it actually does it in the background. So you don't have to sit there and wait for it to finish. You can start that and go and work on another project. Okay? All right, so you can work from the floor plan, you can work from the elevation view. It just depends on different things that you would like to do. Stacking cabinets is a great option here, okay? Stacking moldings is a great option from there, and it's very easy to do. I'm also going to kind of pitch something on our website here, that if you go to 2020spaces.com, and under the 2020 design product, you can select to try 2020 design for free. Okay, so if you're currently an Envisioneer customer, you could download the free trial and you can pass information back and forth and see how it works. Okay. All right. Number of different items here that are really, really nice and easy to use in 2020. The Countertop Wizard. In this case, Constantino Soundstone and Sensa and Cambria. There's maybe 8 to 10 different companies that have countertop catalogs that work under the Countertop Wizard button. Okay, under countertops and trim, you can get Formica, Wilsonart, Nevermore, Caesarstone, Corian. Okay, so there's lots of selections. The Lighting Wizard works with the Sensio lighting catalog. And when you're picking door styles and colors from your cabinet companies, okay, you're basically going through their whole list of products that they sell. Okay, so this is their door styles, okay, and this is their colors. So whatever you select from this library, so let's say I pick as Happy Dockside here, okay. So when I look at the picture now, when I do a rendering, happy dockside is going to be the color of the cabinets. So it's going to change from that cream color that I had on there before to this new selection I just made from that cabinet company's library. Okay, so it's very simple to change door styles and colors. It is also very simple to select price points. Okay, so in this case, the cabinet setup is telling me this is price code G. So I go to price level and I select price group G. If I want to do comparative pricing, I can also select another style. Maybe they want to see the difference between, if this wouldn't make any sense with a paint, but between doing it in maple and doing it in oak, or doing it in cherry. Okay, so it gives you the ability to do price comparisons and provide pricing discounts. So within 2020, you're coming up with your selling discount automatically on your reports. Okay, it does things very uniquely and again and simply. If I want to add trim or anything like that, then basically all I do is I go to this menu, I select the moldings that I want it to produce, I select the catalog that it's going to come from, and when I click add, it adds all that trim in, and it calculates the total number of pieces that is available for the design. Okay? Yeah, right. And annotations, you can do all kinds of unique things, including, I love the tools in here. This is really fun program to play with. If I want to make, let's say, a special countertop, okay, and it's a circle, I can build a circle. I can right click on it and tell it to make 3D. Okay, so this thing is just a circle, like you took an old protractor and drew a circle on the floor. Okay, and I can tell it to make 3D, and I can tell it it's a piece of countertop. And now, if I pop this up, you can see it's a piece of countertop, 1.5 inches thick. I can build legs under it, whatever, and make my own table out of whatever surface material I want, because I can assign this as granite or quartz or anything. Okay. Okay, the granite that I selected was Dakota. Okay, and I mentioned to you about different solid surface items that are available. So here's cedar stone. So if I want to use a cedar stone color rather than the color I had chose, let me pick this because it will be completely different. Okay. And once I click OK, and I'm going to move it up off the floor. Again, it's just a circle still on the floor. And I'll move it up. And I'll do a little view. And I'm going to do this. And you can see it right down here at the bottom of the screen. I'll tilt it this way. Okay. So you can create any shape that you want. You can even do things like, I'm going to zoom in here. I love this one here. I teach this all the time. Running line. Okay. And then basically all I'm going to do is run a line around this island. Okay, make 3D, and I'm going to go into my catalog and get a baseboard. Okay, so now I have baseboard molding all the way around this island. Okay, I'm going to bring up my camera, and I'm going to position it in such a way that we can see this. And make sure the height is what I want. And drop down a little bit here. Okay. And we'll close that picture and start a new one from that camera angle. So basically what I've done is I've drawn custom moldings around the base of the island. So it looks more like a piece of built-in furniture than it looks with regular toe kick underneath it. Nope, too far. Let's go back. Come back. There we go. Not too far that way. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to tilt it up so you can see it. Okay, so you can see with each pass that it does, based on how the lighting is, you can see the reflections on the floor of the lighting. And that's why it's doing multiple passes. So you can see how that created a nice furniture toe type look around that. And it's calculated the number of pieces that would go into the quote for this kitchen. Okay? All right.
Okay, Tom, we've got about 2 more minutes, and then we should get into questions because we do have a lot here. So if you want to show them maybe another feature and then how to export, we can
okay, yeah.
questions.
Well, you know, one of the other features that's right here visible on the screen is that if you want, you can create a legend type setup of everything that's in the design rather than having all the label codes all over the cabinets. Okay, so it gives you a nice clean look. Gives you a list of everything that's in the design, and you can see it has corresponding numbers that go along with each cabinet. So this item right here, REP 34, is actually this panel right here, enclosing the refrigerator cabinet, or the refrigerator, and the refrigerator wall cabinet. Okay? All right, now, to send this back, all I do is I do File, Export, okay, and I use other formats here, okay, and I pick Envisioneer XML, and I give it a name, and I tell it save, okay, and basically it saves the file so that you can now take the file and bring it back into Envisioneer, and it will place it exactly back where it belongs. And I'll turn this over to Chantel.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tom. That was very informative. I think everybody learned of all the different things you can do in 2020. Very exciting. Okay, we're going to go back now to Envisioneer and see with all of that information that we just found out in 2020, how can we now bring that back and make that into our 2020 elements into our Envisioneer model. So we're back looking at my screen again. If you watched the previous webinar on importing 2020, when we do that, we go to File, Import, and import the 2020 design import. And it's going to ask me for the file. So I've got it here. Again, Tom and I did share these earlier, so he didn't have to email it to me. When we're importing a 2020 file, we recognize a few different things. One, it could have been your original Envisioneer model that you sent out. They worked on it and now they're sending it back. So you want to keep the original import layout. Two, you may have sent it to someone and then changes occurred along the way. The floor plan changed a little bit. So you want to import it but attach it to your cursor to show it where you want to go. That's this custom placement. Or, whoops, I think I better get a different file. I'm going to cancel it. So automatic placement remembers the walls you sent out and will bring the cabinets into that exact same position. It'll recognize there's the walls, I'm going to bring them in. Custom placement allows you to place them with your cursor. I'm going to show custom placement today. just so we can have two different kind of videos up on our YouTube channel, one that showed the automatic, and now this one, this newer presentation that shows custom. So I'm going to choose custom and then hit continue. And then you can see all of the elements that Tom created attached to my cursor. And then I just have to bring them in and show them where they exist in my model. So I'm just going to slide them into position there. Should have gotten a little closer. And then left click. Now we can see the layout in the 2020 layout that we've created here on our screen. So this allows us to take a look at it, see what it's going to look like from that different view that we're bringing in, and allow you to see how it's going to fit into that. Moreover from that, once we bring in those elements, it's also part of our 3D model. So when we go out to take a look at the 3D model, all of those elements that you see there are now going to be part of that as well, so that we can look at those and see what they're going to look like on the screen. So when he's created all of those elements, it will help you to develop your 2D floor plan so that you can see those various elements, as we can see on our screen right now. And it will also allow you to visualize that in 3D. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have the two different views. So we have our kitchen view to great room. So I'll click on that. And voila, we see the kitchen and the other elements, the couches, the chairs, the cabinet, and the TV off in the distance. And we can look around the space. So I'll use our look around tool. And there's his elements that he created for us today, all sitting in our design. And looking from the other perspective that we created, the great room to the kitchen, we get to see these elements as well. Now, with those elements that you're bringing in, they are separate entities. So I can click on the couch and I can click on the coffee table, because I could see already one of our questions coming up right away there is, can I move them around? If I'm not happy with the layout, can we further play with the couches and everything? Absolutely, they're individual elements. You have the same move tools that you have in Envisioneer. So this shows you the power of integration. Two different companies perhaps working together, your kitchen designer, your designer, architect, building supply center, all working together using that same file. We don't have to redraw it when we want to send it over to our kitchen designer. We just pass it to them. They do their great work and everything Tom showed you today, and then they pass it back to us so we can integrate it into the entire design. So when we're doing our floor plans, our renderings, all of that work, it's going to be incorporated and be part of it. What I want to do now is concentrate on the last part of our webinar on questions that you have about the integration. In your GoToMeeting console, you have the ability to type in questions, and I'll be able to see those and answer your questions for you. So if everyone would want to type in their questions that they have right now, I'll be able to answer those for you. Okay, I'm going to go up to our questions that we have, and I had a couple sent to me by email too. I'll make sure I get to the emailed ones too. Can I configure the cabinets in 2020 to the style I want, and will it show up in Envisioneer? Will countertops be carried over? So I think during Tom's presentation there, we did show that he showed many different styles and many different types of cabinets, and then brought the countertops over. So yes, when you're designing in 2020, that all gets carried over for you. Where can I find all of the webinars from past broadcasts? Great question. I'm going to flip out to our website quickly for you. And on our website, if you go to www.cadsoft.com, quickest way to get there is scroll to the very bottom, and you'll see events and training. That will not only give you our upcoming schedule of different webinars that we're hosting, but also if you scroll down there, you'll see click here to webinar archive, If you click on the archive, it'll show you all of our past presentations, and you'll be able to go in there and take a look around and find the one that you want to view that's from the past presentations that we've done. Okay. The next question. Can I do more than one room? Yes, as long as I pass out multiple walls and multiple rooms from Envisioneer to 2020. Tom, I believe, and I'm speaking for you, but I want to ask you a question. You can then design a multiple rooms in 2020 and pass that back.
Well, that's kind of what this was, because it's a kitchen and a great room together, based on the walls that were passed from Envisioneer to 2020. So I populated both areas to show that you could do more than one room and pass everything back. So you can do the bathrooms and everything. And they don't have to actually be from the same product line. So the vanities in the bathrooms and things like that could be from a different cabinet company than the kitchen that you design, because you're selecting, once you have the design done in 2020, you're selecting from each product line, door style, color, price point, and everything, and you're passing all that back. You could have 3 different cabinet lines that you're actually passing back to Envisioneer.
Perfect. Next question is, can you add more rooms later? And that's where you would take advantage. So say we got the kitchen done, pass that over, sent those walls over to our designer, and they realized, I wanted to do another room too. Maybe I wanted to do a different bathroom. I didn't pass that over as my original design. What you can do is send over a new file, so it's got all of those walls so they know where they're situated. Or if you give them the basic dimensions of that room, they can sketch out a room the same size in 2020. And when you're bringing it back, remember we have that custom placement. You would bring that other room back, that bathroom as an example, or an ensuite, as a custom placement, attaching it to your cursor just like I did and placing it in the corresponding room in your Envisioneer model. Okay.
One other thing about the multiple catalogs, and even in just the kitchen, you can use, like a lot of our cabinet companies will send you multiple copies of their catalog. They'll make an A and a B version of the catalog. And so you can use A to do the main body of the kitchen. You can use B to do the island, because you can pick a different door style and color for each one. Everything related to pricing and everything would be affected and passed again, but you would automatically get a 2-tone design in 2020 that you're passing back intact to here too.
Wonderful.
That you can easily 2-tone kitchens. Wonderful.
And along that line too, say you had everything designed and it was just a matter of a paint color that you wanted to change, and you had everything brought over, the client's over here saying the entire model, and they're saying, okay, well, what if I wanted to change something and do a 2-tone? You can always remember, take advantage of the material paintbrush in Envisioneer, grab the paint color that you want to, and when you have that paint color, so say I went up here to different woods as an example, or if we went to paint and grabbed a paint color, you can grab whatever paint color you want and add it to that as well. So don't feel like once you're locked into one, you got to do all these import exports. It's quite flexible. That will allow more rooms to go out. And once they're in, we can take advantage of painting it here as well. Okay. A question was, where's the tile backsplash? Well, because we sent this file over earlier, there wasn't a tile backsplash, but there are limitations to different things that can be imported and exported. When Tom's passing over the file, we'll bring back cabinetry, appliances, furniture, and the accessories, but we don't bring back things like the walls or the ceilings or any kind of structural element, just because of the information we're packing behind the scenes into our walls about the framing that's involved and how you're framing it. That information can't be passed back and forth. So that's why if you do see certain things that you wanted to bring back and forth, why they wouldn't initially go over to 2020 and why they wouldn't come back to Envisioneer. Okay. Next question. Can we see this webinar again on the website? Yes, we can. We will be uploading this to our YouTube channel, and where we had the webinar archive that I showed you on our website, we'll be uploading that there as well. So there'll be a quick link from our website, or you can search out our YouTube channel. And I believe, Tom, that 2020 is also putting this up on your YouTube channel once I get it downloaded for you as well.
Okay.
Can I change the attributes in the imported items? Yes, you can. So if you've brought in a different element, we'll say this dishwasher or different elements in, you'll still have the same properties pages that you can bring up and change. So if there's a little change you want to make, whether it be to the appearance of it using a different material, or maybe it's a different size, they've updated the dishwasher and you just want to squeeze it out a little bit, you can change the size here, or the quantity information so that it organizes itself correctly when you're sending it out for bid. You can change the phase and usage and part numbers and things like that. So yes, the items, because they're individual items, they will recognize what they are intelligently when they're brought back over, and you can manipulate them like they were any other kind of Envisioneer object. Okay, next question. I'm having trouble with items that I paint with a paintbrush retaining their color. If you can elaborate a little bit more for me on that, is it when you're coming back into a file, or is it seeing it the actual color on your screen? It might be a factor on your screen color. If you could elaborate, I'd really appreciate that. Okay. Questions that I had while I'm waiting for that elaboration, what I'll go through are questions that I also have been emailed to me during the presentation as well. One was, can I add my own SKUs and prices to those cabinets? And yes, we did cover that one. And that's, I showed you how to bring up the object. And another one was, can Envisioneer make circles into objects too? Because that was a really cool feature that Tom showed us. We have a similar tool. If we go up to tools and layout, and I go to circle and make a circle, so I'll just create it into here as an example. If I grab that circle, we can right click, and then we have convert to. So I can say, I want to convert that to a wall or a retaining wall or a footing or edging. So if I say, make that into a wall, and then I tell it that it's an interior wall, a 2x4 wall, when we come back into our 3D view, into there, we can see the round wall. So yes, we have the similar tool that you can convert lines into different objects and circles into different objects as well. Okay, I'm just going to edit, undo, and get that little bit of a silo out of there. And let me check back to see if we have some more elaboration on that question. When in the same open design, say I change the trim or wall color, I come back into a new 3D view, it reverts to the old color. If you could send that model into the support office, support@cadsoft.com, email it to them. I'd like to take a look at that, because when you apply with the paintbrush, what it's doing to that object, if I click on this wall as an example, it is coming directly in here and saying, this wall is now this color. So I'm interested to see what's happening, why it's losing it, if it's a certain type of object. If you can let them know, maybe it's always walls that's happening to, or always ceilings, that would be helpful for them to understand that. Okay, that seems to be all of our questions. So I want to give a big thank you to Tom for joining us today. We're going to be putting up, like I said, the model. We can send that out to everyone so you can download it and play with it and try the XML file, bring those in. Maybe Tom can send up one of his 360 views, and we'll send out one of our 360 panoramics as well up to the Home View app so that you can play with it on your phone as well, so you can see how it all works and how we each do different things differently. Tom, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you taking out your time and your busy schedule. I want to flip back to our PowerPoint here because we do have some contact information for you. 2020 has provided this web address right here. If you want to copy that down, that will take you to a spot on their website where you can download a trial. And like Tom said, try it out, play with the different tools that are there. So again, thank you everyone for joining us. Tom, big thank you to you for your presentation today. I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.